Hello, everyone out there. I am Denise Fleck, the Pet Safety Crusader, and I am happy to welcome you to January 21st, National Answer Your Cats Question Day. Well, if any of you heard the tease, you know that Haiku, my best buddy, was barking up a storm. I think he's kind of upset that there actually isn't a designated Answer Your Dog's Question Day. But cats are more mysterious, and we have to do a little bit more decoding with our feline best friends to figure out a lot of what they're saying to us. So I hope some of the things I'm going to share today might enlighten you to a few things that have been on their minds. And please chime in if your cat has a particular question that needs to be answered. I'll be delighted to have a go at it and see what I can do to come up with it. One of the things cats want to know is, why do we get upset when they pee on the carpet? Well, I think that seems rather obvious to us humans, but you have to look at it from their perspective. How diligent are you at cleaning out that litter box? Cats are very finicky and they like a clean place to go. So it's important you regularly clean out their litter. Also, have you changed it lately? Is it something that may irritate their paws when they scratch in it? Or is it something that just has a different smell or aroma to it? Is your kitty maybe getting a little bit older and you've tried to conceal the litter box with a cover, and now due to her arthritis, it's more difficult for her to actually crawl in that hole? Think about some of these things. Also, if your cat's having any sort of urinary tract infection, not feeling her best, or again, if she's getting older and slower, you may need to add another litter box to the house, because dashing upstairs or dashing down to the cold basement may not be the easiest thing for her to do. So if she's not making it to her litter box and is urinating in other places, think about what it could be that she's trying to say. She's not probably trying to just be a bad cat. There's definitely a reason, and it may have to do with the litter, to your lack of cleaning it out efficiently, or for her needing another one, that she can get to more readily. Cats also want to know why you keep on petting them after they're telling you to stop it. Dogs very often will let you go on and on with a belly rub, or let you go on and throw that tennis ball. But cats are different creatures altogether. Hey, Lisa, thanks for joining in. Cats often will start to flatten their ears, or they'll whip their tail and telling you that it's enough, and you just keep on mindlessly scratching. You need to be aware again if it's an older kitty or one that just has some aches and pains, that with their arthritis or other problems, you may be applying a little bit too much pressure. For dogs and for humans, when we're rubbing or massaging, that deep tissue massage may feel good, but for a cat, maybe not so much. Lisa's telling me I need cat info. I'm always asked, but I'm a dog person, so I'm glad to be helping out here a little bit. And I feel that same way too, Lisa. I love kitty cats very, very much, but having been a big dog person for decades, most of my dogs aren't always cat friendly, so I generally get my cat fix when I'm volunteering at shelters, but we can always, learn a few things. And that's an important thing I always had to learn at the shelter, because being around Akitas and Labs and Great Danes and German Shepherds and dogs that you can really hug and, just like I mentioned, massage and, rough up a little bit, it's very important when you come into the presence of a feline that you take a deep breath and step back a little bit and not be so rough and tumble with them. Not even just because they may be sore or old or frail, but because they are a smaller creature and you just want to come at it with a less domineering and rough approach. Now, another question I hear cats are asking us is, why the heck do we keep shooing them off the countertop? Don't we know they like being in high places and surveying their domain? Sometimes they just need to get out of the way of the canine best friends that may be in the household. So you need to set some limits, and maybe there are some places kitties don't belong, but they do need an out-of-the-way place where they can, perch, even though they're not a bird, but, look at things from a different perspective. And sometimes they like to look at us face to face, and by being on a countertop, that's a way for them to do that. Another question is, why do we shoo them off our computer or laptop? Cats actually need to sleep about 12 to 16 hours a day, and they like to very often sleep in a warm place. So a computer laptop is actually a perfect place for them, but we need to have a meeting of the minds because we need to do some work too. So maybe you can work on your computer near a sunny windowsill or something so your feline best friend can be by your side and can get the warmth and the rest she needs, but also give you the opportunity to do the work you need to do. Hands off the belly. Cats, unlike dogs, I was just mentioning, dogs will let you go on and on with those belly rubs forever and ever and ever. And when a dog shows a belly, we often think that the animal's being submissive, that he's being friendly, or that he's just, you know, submitting to your every whim. Well, that can be true with cats, but not so much all the time. Sometimes showing the belly is actually a defensive move because they're showing their enemies that their limbs and their claws are, you know, out and primed and ready to go. So that's a whole different strategy than what we usually think with, you know, our dog friends, where it's actually a little bit more where cat's in attack mode. But, you know, sometimes they're just showing their tummies because they're trying to stretch too. So, you know, go ahead, try giving the little belly rub, but notice the rest of the body language as well. Are the ears getting flattened? Are the eyes squinting a little bit? Is that tail starting to whip in that fast motion? If so, you know, chill out, lay back, and let Kitty have her time to herself. Another thing I have heard from a cat down the corner the other day is, what is the deal with all the photographs? I'm not a Kardashian after all. And, you know, what us humans often do is we get out their favorite toy or their catnip or some treats, and we try to get their attention so we can get that perfect shot. But as soon as we got the shot, we pull the treat away or we take away the toy, you know, and it's like, what's up with that? Cats aren't, you know, necessarily taking selfies of themselves all the time, and they don't need to see these photos of themselves, and they just don't understand why we're teasing them with various toys and things. So it's important that if we do take their photos, we give them the courtesy of some special time afterwards with that feather toy or that catnip mouse or whatever it happens to be. Here we are about, I guess we're on question number 5. I haven't been keeping track, but cats want to know why we feel the need to throw them in a sink full of soapy water. They're perfectly capable of bathing themselves. Their tongues are actually made with these rough little, they're called papier, that are often used to get the meat off the bone of their prey, but it's also a terrific grooming tool. So, you know, why do we need to get them in that water, that soapy water? Cats are control freaks, and they often don't like to not be able to have their 4 feet on the ground. They like to feel in control, and the feeling of floating isn't really the most comfortable for them. Also, their hair doesn't dry very quickly. So I'm not saying don't give Kitty a bath. One of the things, or best things I think you can do with a dog or a cat, is actually talk them through the things you're going to do. Some people say our animals don't understand a thing we say, but I know a lot of us, somebody that's actually sitting and listening to a Facebook Live of me talking about this type of thing would probably agree that animals do pick up on a lot of what we're saying. They may not understand the exact words, but I think they often get our intentions. And some people say that when we speak, we're actually communicating visual pictures that our dogs and cats can pick up on. So, you know, if you feel the need that your cat does need a bath, always do it at a time when you're in a good place, you're in a good mood, you have time, you're not rushing, and you're just sending good energy out to your feline best friend. And talk her through it. Let her know what you're doing, and make sure you do appropriately dry her so she's not uncomfortable with a heavy or cold coat afterwards, but that you take that time to, you know, communicate. Now, on another note, that brings me to another question about, you know, why are you humans meowing back at us? When cats meow, they're saying something specific. Cats have at least a dozen specific meows. There may be many, many more, but most of the time kittens and moms or dads too are meowing something specifically back and forth to each other to communicate. When an adult cat meows, she's trying to talk to the human that, you know, lives in the house along with her, so to speak. And her meow has something specific to ask or to demand of us humans. But when we meow back, it's kind of like the old Charlie Brown cartoons when they have the human going, blah, 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 blah. That's exactly what it sounds like to the cat. The cat has no idea what we're meowing back. We think we're communicating. We're really not. So it's probably better to actually talk in our human language or show the cat or just kind of tune in and feel in your gut what she's asking of you and either accommodate or not depending on, you know, what the request is. But do realize that when we're meowing back, it's just kind of a blah, blah, blah to the cat and she's probably not getting it at all. But the longer we're with our animals, whether they're canine or feline or some other species, I think we do develop a language or at least an understanding, and they start to understand us very often better than we actually ever understand them. Let's see, I've got a few questions here. I picked up this article from a gentleman named Daryl Chen, and he had some very interesting things to say. I think this ran in Reader's Digest. So let me see what this is. Here's another one. Why do you blame us kitty cats for your allergies? And what this boils down to is me telling you whether it's a cat or a dog, we generally are not allergic to the fur. We're actually allergic to the dander. It's a protein found on the skin, and it's what causes us to sneeze and cough. Some breeds have less of it. I'm just actually going to look it up here on my sheet here. It's called FELD1. And, you know, a lot of people, when they're going to adopt a dog or a cat, they look for a hypoallergenic dog or a cat. Well, certain breeds of dogs, poolies, poodles, oh, there's another one that it's not coming to mind. I guess Portuguese water dogs, they have more hair rather than fur. It's a little bit different. And some people say that they have a better time with that. But it's really the dander, this protein that's found on the skin of dogs and cats that causes us problems. What I want to encourage you to do is, you know, there's some people that always have the extreme. But especially if you're adopting and you start to notice somebody in the household is sneezing a bit more, try to help them to hang in there. Ask them to go to their human doctor, sometimes with an allergy shot or even an over-the-counter medication. They can get past it. And we often become immune to that after a while if we'll just hang in there. And, you know, it's the least we can do for an animal that's been in the shelter is to give him some time to see if we can adjust. There's actually scientific proof, and I know I've talked about this on a few occasions. It's a word called zooea. It's a relatively new word. It's the inverse of zoonosis, which are diseases we can get from animals. Zooea is the scientific proof that living with animals actually improves human health. And one of the portions of that, the study, is that children that grow up with animals often build up a stronger immune system. So that being said, when you adopt a pet or if you're having some issues around him, try to hang in there. Find out if there are some things you can do to keep yourself more comfortable medicinally or homeopathically. Make sure you're vacuuming the house more, you're washing the bedding more often. But very often we do build up an immunity, and then you and the cat can live a very happy life together. Now, of course, there are extremes, and I don't want anybody going into anaphylactic shock over an allergy of sorts. But I'm just asking you, for the sake of the homeless animals, to try to give it a go and see if it does work. All right, what other question did Daryl Chen come up with here that I might be able to share with you? Cats are saying, why do you demonize us? It's true. We have all of these little things in our head that we've heard since we're kids, and we repeat them over and over. And this happens with other species as well. But it's like, well, if a black cat crosses your path, you're going to have an unlucky day. Or don't leave a kitty around a baby, it'll suck the breath out of them. Well, gosh, we know these things aren't true, but very often we perpetuate these, or we use these lines in stories. Cats are no more evil than any other living creature on this earth. There can be a bad apple of any species, but don't discriminate against cats because of their fur color or just because of the species they are. Us in America consider black cats unlucky for some strange reason, but in Japan and in England and other countries, black cats are actually considered very lucky if they cross your path. So, do keep that in mind. It's just like with the dogs. Sometimes the darker furred animals get this bad rap because in the movies, we associate the darker colored fur just like we do in the Westerns with the cowboy wearing the black hat being the bad guy and the guy in the white hat being the good guy. That has somehow translated to the fur of our pets, and we take that on. Sometimes in animal shelters, simply because the lighting isn't great and animals are hiding in the back of their runs or cages, you don't see the dark animals as well, or they just appear a little bit more threatening because they're not well lit. That's one of the wonders. I'm so happy that at the Burbank Animal Shelter that I used to volunteer at in California, they have a great photo team, and they've learned to work wonders with their photographing of the animals so that the pictures that they're able to display on social media really bring out the best in the animals. But that isn't always the case. So, please don't keep perpetuating lies about black cats being evil or talking smack about anything else about our animal friends. They can all just be perfectly wonderful, no matter if they walk on 4 paws or 3 legs, whether they have a tabby coat, a Russian blue, if they're a shiny black tuxedo cat with just the white chest, or if they're a calico of any kind. So, love them one and all and enjoy them for the uniqueness that they are. The last question that I'm going to have, unless anybody else has one that their cat is dying to know, is why do we get cranky when, cats get up early and want us to get up too? Well, it's just, kind of the old early bird catches the worm, or the early cat catches the bird, so to speak. Kitties are early risers. Although they do like to be up late at night as well, they often do like to get up. And, as the days get longer, it just gives them more opportunity to enjoy nature. And we should be in the moment like they are, partaking in all of the things the different seasons have to offer. If you really don't want your kitty to get up too early, if she's pulling on your eyelids or meowing in your ear, maybe think about whatever room she's sleeping in to have some sort of blackout curtains or shades, because she's going to rise with that sun in most cases. Now, again, there are always exceptions to the rule, and you may have a kitty who likes to sleep in. That might be the perfect companion for you if you're a late sleeper. But we are sharing our lives with a totally different species. And although we can have wonderful moments together, we have to realize that canines, felines, and humans are different. And even the canines and felines are different from each other. Don't just think of a cat as a small dog. Their personalities are different, and the way they communicate with us is different as well. So we need to be a little bit more patient even with cats sometimes, realize they are on their own schedule and that doesn't always fit ours. And do some things, though, that we have to instill manners in them. Just like human kids, we have to give them parameters. And it's important that you do some training. And we talked about this last week, I think it was on Monday, about cats, because although this is National Train Your Dog Month, I really want you to realize that cats can learn some things too. And it's important, if we're going to get along in a household, that they learn it, that they do learn to go to the bathroom in their litter box, that you do teach them a command or two, like leave it, to keep them safe from eating something that they shouldn't, and that you either teach them sit, stay, or come. It can be with an electric can opener, or it can be with the flickering of a light switch, or with your actual a verbal command, or like we were talking about with a clicker, or making that clicking sound with your mouth, or even a kissing sound, whatever it is. But you do need to teach them a few commands, and very often initially it's just going to be random the way it's done. If the cat actually sits or stays at the door when you want her to, treat her right there and then, and reward her for that good behavior. And that constant repetition will help reinforce the trick or the command, however you want to refer to it. But you have to always be ready. Always use a happy voice around your animals, whichever species you're dealing with, and just treat them with love, patience, and kindness. I guess that's about it for the cat questions. If anybody has one after you're watching this in the replay, I'd be delighted for you to leave it, and we'll see if we can come up with some answers and some more information about cats and how they differ and how we can make them a better part of our lives. I hope you guys will tune in on Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern as we continue our National Walk Your Dog Month. I'm going to be showing you some products from an awesome company I've discovered, Dig-It Collars and Leashes, and how they can really fit into both your walking and your training schedule with your dogs. So have a happy National Answer Your Cats Question Day, and do your best today to really tune into what your kitty cat may be trying to tell you, or your puppy dog, whoever you share your life with, maybe even that human person. Make this day spread, across the species barrier, and really just try to pay attention to what people are saying to you. Be in the moment with them. Make them the most interesting person or animal at that point in time while you're together, and have a wonderful day together. The Pet Safety Crusader signing off for today. Thanks for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you on Thursday and talking about Dig-It Collars and Leashes. Bye-bye for now.